Hello and welcome everybody to this technologically challenging last episode. But hello and welcome to season 10 of the Mundane to Magical online summit. As you possibly know, my name is Louise Matson, and as always, I am truly blessed to be your host, even when technology is not playing the game with me. This is the last live call of this season's summit, and it has been my honour to host this summit this season. And as always, it's my honour to close the season with a live call. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Louise Matson, and I'm a conscious channel, a conduit for energy healing, shamanic practitioner, a way shower and spiritual mentor and guide. And I channel the highest vibrational beings of pure love and light, divine source field, sharing the messages as they come through. My mission and purpose is to guide and assist people along their path from disempowerment to standing in their sovereignty, so that we can all radiate our light openly in the world, living our authentic and soulful lives. My aim is to empower people to understand who they truly are as sovereign beings and realign to their life purpose and true potential. Now, the topic for this show today is being free to be your authentic self. Well, when things like the technology messes up, that's a good opportunity for us to be our authentic selves and for it to be absolutely okay. So in a way, I am glad that it has happened in this way, because it does enable us to all to show up in a real way. And that's what it's all about, really. So as always, the topics of the summit, they tend to flow seamlessly together, even though there is no kind of pre-planned theme for the summits. And as always, please feel free to ask any questions throughout the call using the chat and Q&A sections, or I don't know if it has Q&A on the meeting, but just write your questions in chat or pop your hand up or something and ask a question. And I'll answer them as well as I can as long as we go along. So let's get started. It's with great pleasure and honour that I share the wisdom that Source has brought through to share with you all at this time. And I'm setting the intention that my voice holds out. So, so the call is all about being free to be our true selves. And we live by many rules, particularly in this third and fourth dimensional energetic landscape, from the universal laws that we briefly touched upon in yesterday's call to the man-made laws that we all live and experience life with. And we've seen and experienced this as truth more and more over the last few years, with new laws and rules being enforced quite harshly at times. And many who believe themselves to live in a free democracy have often seen those freedoms being eroded and eaten away by governments and corporations and other groups, seemingly unaware or unperturbed by their freedoms being thus diminished. And as I stated in the conversation with Jade last night, we entered into this experience of incarnation as spiritual toddlers and have remained as such throughout our lives, feeling separated from the truth of who we are and allowing the truth of others to be embedded into our identity construct, therefore never really fully undertaking the process of spiritual development and growth into adulthood, or ever realizing that this is a possibility. But these freedoms that we thought we had have been impacted way beyond the moment of our birth. And I kind of briefly touched on that yesterday. Those freedoms, the freedom to fully, truly express ourselves, were impacted before the point of incarnation. And this comes from the experience of being captive as a soul within an incarnational cycle. And all of this information that I'm sharing is basically what spirits downloaded to me over the course of a few days leading up to this summit. Because I never know what I'm going to be speaking at in each summit. It's because I'm a channel, I just open up and ask what spirit wants to be shared at this time. So what do I mean about us being captive souls within an incarnational cycle? So over many incarnations, our souls have been trapped in an incarnational cycle affecting this planetary consciousness. At the point of convergence in 1987, the locks started to come off. And by 2012, all the locks were released. And we were then freely able to transition fully back to the pure source field. Now, the energy generated by our mental and emotional fields has been and is being utilized by a minority for their own gain rather than the greatest and highest good of all. And we can see the hierarchical energetic structure at play out in societal and cultural structures that we see in today's physical energetic framework. The creation of karma is an example of this captivation, where at the point of transition, at the moment of death, as it were, from the physical experience, our souls have not been free to return to the pure source field as we had expected, desired and anticipated, but found ourselves locked into an incarnation cycle and then bounced back into incarnation before we were ready and before we would have freely chosen to return. So reliving to an extent the karmic overlays of what's gone before in previous lifetimes, constantly playing through and replaying through experiences and lessons and situations, and repeating the same experiences but with different characters. And this is why we kind of get that sense of, you know, repeating certain episodes in our life again and again. It may be, you know, we attract the same partners or same relationships with people, or we have, you know, similar experiences, but the people who we're interacting with are completely different. And we don't understand why we're constantly repeating these same ways of being. And there have been many levels of incarceration placed upon us in this lifetime. We've experienced many forms of lack of freedom without fully appreciating them. And the main lack of freedom is that lack of freedom to fully express ourselves as the divine creator beings that we truly are. And we've experienced this on a very deep and visceral level within the physical plane as well, in the form of not feeling able to speak our minds or to live our truth or to express our emotions. And again, either through a cultural expectation of what is and isn't allowed, or societal and familial rules and laws. You know, we say things like big boys don't cry, and, you know, we perceive the English to be really stoic and not showing our emotions. And quite often in Western cultures, you know, we ridicule or lose patience with people who are grieving over something for too long. And quite often, you know, many people in society are don't feel able to have a voice based on their gender or their age. And that's particularly the case for children. So this conversation is all about freedom, our freedom to express ourselves fully, our freedom to be the all that we are. For it's truly time for us to break free of the layers of incarceration that have held us in these patterns of control and manipulation and ignorance of our own truth. And one step that Spirit's shown me to release ourselves from these patterns of manipulation and control is to free ourselves from the contracts made at soul level that we engaged in due to this frustrating experience of entrapment within the incarnational cycle. And so Spirit has shown me through many client sessions that our souls, realizing that they were trapped in this incarnational cycle, just rinsing and repeating, coming straight back into incarnation again, and realizing that the physical existence was hard and painful when they tried to stand in their truth and power, chose to create what's called monadic soul levels contracts to ensure, in a way, an easier experience of life. You know, it's kind of like, if you can't beat them, join them. And this is due to the karmic nature of this entrapped incarnation cycle and never really being fully free upon transition to return to the pure source field. Because under normal circumstances, when we return to the pure source field upon transition from the physical plane, all of our memories and experiences are fully downloaded or uploaded and therefore neutralized. For it's when we transition and return to the pure source field and allow that complete download of experience into the collective Akash, as it were, into that pure source field of consciousness, that we're able to become fully neutral. It's kind of like they've shown me, it's like when you take photographs or record something on your phone and you upload it onto the computer and you click yes, you want to, you know, import everything and then delete it off the device. That's what happened. Your phone is wiped clean of all the photos that was held, all the memories and experiences that were held within. And you're then free to take new memories and experiences and record them on your phone. And that's what we're doing. Within this physical vehicle, we're recording and storing memories and experience into the physical vessel, the etheric memory of the physical vessel that we're incarnated in. And under normal circumstances, when we transition out of the physical, all the information held within the etheric memory is uploaded into the pure source field of consciousness. And the memory banks are restored back to their clear and neutral state. So if or when we choose to incarnate again, and not necessarily within this dimensional space, we're completely cleared and cleansed of all previous experience at a physical and lower astral level. And we can be fully present within the new incarnational experience. But what's happened within this entrapped incarnation cycle is we've been shackled, and each time we've reincarnated, our divine blueprint has already been programmed with the memory signatures of previous and past events in previous and past lifetimes. And these overlays, these pre-programs, as it were, then generate emotional triggers and mental triggers that determine our behaviors in subsequent lifetimes. And until and unless we free ourselves from those pre-programmed memory signatures and free ourselves from the subsequent contracts that are holding us into these patterns of behavior and experience, we won't ever be able to freely express ourselves in the truth of the all that we are. So this talk is all about this. It's all about freedom, the freedom to fully and wholly express your truth. But in being able to do that means to know what your truth is. To know thy truth, to know thyself. And this comes through the inner work, the inner reflection, the allowance of opening yourself up and really going deep within, exploring your own inner landscape fully, allowing all aspects of you to be invited to the table. Each aspect, each frequency that is held within the spectrum of the entirety of your incarnated light body holds equal standing, equal power and respect. But also we get to make sure that there's no doors within us that are closed. There's no door closed to others and no door closed to ourselves. And I don't know if you're all aware of the Johari window, but there's a large square that's divided into four, just as a window is sometimes divided into four. And each of the four subparts is an aspect of awareness of self and others' awareness of ourselves. So one square will represent that which we know about ourselves and that which we share openly with other people. And another square represents that which we know about ourselves, but we don't share with other people. The third square represents that which others know about us, but we're blind to. And this comes through another's perception of us, perceiving of our truth through the nuances of our behaviours, and that which they sense from us intuitively, but that we've got no awareness of. And the last square is the where we have no awareness, and nor does anybody else. And these last two squares really represent our shadow areas. And this is where the work is, to explore those closed doors, those areas within us that for whatever reason we feel fearful or reticent to share with another, or even to share with ourselves. They may hold the vibration of frequency of fear, of disgust, of disdain, of hatred, embarrassment, guilt, shame, or any combination of the above. And so this work within is to release ourselves of all of the lower vibrations that I've just mentioned, so that we're able and happy to stand fully in our truth and say, this is me, this is who I am. And there's no aspect of me that I dare not see and know about. And there's no aspect of me that I'm embarrassed or ashamed or fearful to share with others. It doesn't mean that we have to stand naked within our community and bear everything to everyone all of the time, because everything is perfect and in perfect timing. It's just we don't have any blocks. We don't hold any energy within us, no program, contract or belief that's holding us back from being our truth in those moments when it would be appropriate to share our truth. And it could be something really simple, something as simple as sharing your vulnerability, saying when you need help, sharing your own fears or worries or emotions. And I've certainly felt that over this last week. I mean, at times I was so exhausted And I'm not somebody who reaches out for people to help me historically in my life. I was taught that, you know, it was weak. It was a sign of weakness to ask for help, to let others know that you were actually in that state where, you know, you felt you couldn't cope with everything. And so this week I've had to ask for somebody to help me walk the dogs on their second walk because I physically couldn't do it. And that was a big thing for me. That was a big realization of, in a way, how far I've come, because I didn't feel embarrassed or ashamed or guilty or anything. It was just, yeah, if I'm going to do these live calls, I've got to look after myself. And also the dogs need looking after too. So, you know, I get to reach out to people. I get to ask for help. But that would have been something that I wouldn't have done 20 years ago. So you know, this is about sharing our fears, sharing our worries or emotions, and showing and sharing even our extreme emotions sometimes. And that's not to say that we're directing anything at anybody, but we're also not denying the truth of how we're feeling in a moment as well. And, you know, it also may be not wearing masks that everyone else is wearing or expects us to wear just because, you know, that's what we've been trained to do and that's what we've done in the past. Not acting against our own truth to fit in, not behaving in a certain way when in fact inside you're feeling the complete opposite, and agreeing to do something for somebody else when actually you don't want to do that. And, you know, rather than owning your truth and saying, actually, no, it's not right for me at this time. So these things, they don't have to be major, but we've created them to be something major in our internal landscape. And also these overlays have created them to be something major as well. Because whatever's locked behind those doors within ourselves, those aspects that we may determine are our shadow and have power over us, you know, we've adapted our behavior because we fear another person seeing that aspect within us or knowing that thing about us. We fear it coming out into the open space or another perceiving it without our awareness. And so it is for us to have no doors closed to ourselves. And that's what the work is. And the work is purely on ourselves and within ourselves. Everybody's journey is their own journey. And although we can walk alongside somebody and we can support somebody in expressing their truth, one, through being a role model, but two, from just, you know, holding that space when somebody's actually taking that brave step and doing it, it's not for us to do the work for them. So in doing the work of releasing these monadic soul contracts, these group contracts, as well as the personal soul contracts that have built up over lifetimes, we are releasing the shackles that determine our behavior, that determine our perception of self, and that determine our experience within the wider energetic landscape. When we release ourselves from these soul contracts that we hold with others, monadic or group contracts, we're also beginning the process of releasing everybody who's attached to them. And this can be challenging for those not actively seeking freedom. So has anybody got any questions at this time? I'm just trying to see where the question, the chat box is. Yeah, it was difficult getting in because I had an issue with webinars, and so I had to suddenly change it to meetings. But I'm glad you're here now. Hi, Maria. Can I just ask that everybody mute themselves, because I'm trying to keep it on speaker view, and if people aren't muted, then they suddenly jump into being on the speaker. Okay. Okay, so there's no questions. So everything that I've just shared is clear, yeah? Okay, so I'll just go through what the difference is between a monadic soul contract and a group soul contract. So the monadic soul contracts are those contracts that are created within the monadic soul structure, and they're created at soul level within the artificial holographic source space that was created as part of the entrapment of the souls upon transition from the physical. What do you do to stay in tune with your soul essence? First of all, you've got to clear your space. First of all, you've got to clear your space to determine what your soul essence is. Because as I said, when we come in, we're not coming in with a clean template. We're not coming in purely in our own divine template. We're coming in with a mixed match of pre-programmed templates. And so to get down to the truth of who you are, some people like to do meditation, you know, it's however you connect into yourself and create that relationship with who you truly are. And I did a lot of things like literally just asking myself 1,000,001 questions, you know, as if you were going to introduce yourself to somebody and you want to know about them, you want to find out about them. And that's basically what we're doing with ourselves in this situation. And quite often this work comes from people going through a dark night of the soul where you know, something's happened, we've been really pushed to our limit. You know, the soul aspect of you, the highest vibrational aspects, I'm really pushing you to break through, because this is the lifetime to do it. That's what we've come here to do, is to break down all of these barriers so that we can live in our truth. And when you get that, it's about going, okay, I understand and accept that I'm a mixed match of all kinds of energies. I've got the energies of my friends, my family, people in authority, you know, people who have had an influence or impact on me. And if we recognize that that's where we're starting from, it's like, okay, I'm going to clean house. So I'm going to get rid of everything that isn't me. And that also involves the physical, because we are part of the physical as well. So, you know, going around your house and just getting rid of everything that doesn't resonate with you, kind of feeling into. And this may seem really harsh because sometimes we're given gifts and we accept those gifts and we say, oh, thank you very much. That's lovely. But it's not something that I would purchase, and it's not something that I would have in the house. But it's there in our space, but it's got nothing to do with our energy whatsoever. It's not a reflection of me at all. And so a lot of my purging of my environmental space was literally being radically honest and going through and clearing out everything that didn't resonate with me, and taking it to charity and you know, offering it back to the people who'd given it to me and things like that. So when we've cleared house and we've got that idea of what our vibration feels like, who we are, then it's a much easier standpoint to stay in tune with yourself. But one of the big things is, you know, there's so many layers to this. So we can do things on what may seem like quite a superficial level, like, you know, cleaning the house and making sure that, you know, the things that you're watching on the television resonate with you, that you're reading the books that resonate with you, you know, you're having the friendships and the connections that resonate with you. And again, allowing yourself to let go of anything that doesn't. And because it's a fluid, moving process, nothing's ever static, nothing's ever remaining in one place. It's not like, oh, I found myself, okay, now I'm going to stick like this forever. It's like I found myself in this moment, but then in the next moment, I keep checking in. Am I resonating with my frequency? Am I living in my truth? What does joy look like for me? What does love look like for me? What would love do in this situation? And that's how you keep in tune with your soul essence, by dropping out of your head into your heart, connecting in, because that's where your divine truth is, and connecting in with that feeling part of you, and just checking in, feeling in all the time. So I hope that answers your question, Joy. So we've talked about what monadic soul contracts are. Then we've got the group soul contracts, and these are created in lifetimes with groups of souls who are experiencing a similar situation. So say, for example, in a past life, I, as part of my village or family unit, chose to stand in my truth, chose to stand in my power, live my truth, and it all ended badly. But it wasn't just me that was impacted or affected, it was the whole village, or it was the whole family unit. Well, this decision that I may have made has impacted everybody. And so that entire unit of people, because it wasn't just me that was punished, but the entire group, could well have created contracts, commands, decrees, that that's not a good idea. it's not a good idea to stand in your truth, to stand up for yourself, to, you know, shine your light, to raise your head above the parapet, whatever it is. And so group contracts are made with people who experience similar situations, occurrences. And it may be that in the releasing of these soul contracts, it's an automatic and immediate release for everyone involved. But quite often what I've found is, particularly with the monadic soul contracts or the much larger group soul contracts, the contract itself is destabilized but not fully dissolved. And Spirit's kind of shown that as, you know, it's like a table. A table holds its stability within the four legs. And if one person reclaims their divine essence from a soul contract, it literally, you know, unravels their signature from the soul contract, within the monadic structures, then it's like taking a chunk out of a table leg, or possibly the whole table leg, depending on the size of the group, which means that ultimately the entire structure of the contract is destabilized and will eventually collapse. But it might not happen overnight. Depends on how many people are involved. So within the spectrum of all the souls that make up our soul family groups, or, you know, that make up the monadic soul contract structure, there is a far and wide range. At one end of the spectrum, you've got those souls who are as ready as you to release the contract, to stand in their power. You know, they're up there front and forward, they're doing this work, they're doing their inner work. They're at the same point of spiritual evolution and readiness to stand in their power and process, you know, as you are. And so that it snowballs, that process snowballs. But on the other end of the spectrum, and I will say this, we are all connected. And so whatever one of us do, it is felt by those other people within the group on some level. They may not be consciously aware of it, but it is felt on some level. Right at the other end of the spectrum, however, you've got those souls who are absolutely not interested. You know, the last thing they want to do is change. They're very happy, thanks very much, with the way things are in this incarnation, and seem completely unaware of anything beyond the physical plane of reality. And I've been in a relationship with somebody of that ilk. You know, definitely part of my soul tribe, definitely part of my monadic soul family. I know for a fact that I've been around in a few incarnations with this person for completely not interested in pushing the boundaries and living the truth of the all that they are. Sorry. And then in the middle, you've got a whole range within the middle of that spectrum that vary in their state of readiness to free themselves and to live their true and authentic lives. Those that are not in the same state of readiness as you to be free can and will fight to maintain their own state of existence. Spirit is showing me an interesting image of an adult elephant chained by the foot with a small, tiny, thin chain compared to the size of the animal. When an animal's been taught to believe themselves to be trapped or enslaved, they've been tied up and chained from birth and punished or beaten if they tried to break free, they grow up believing that that chain has power over them. You know, when beings of consciousness have been trained for lifetime after lifetime to see themselves as powerless, to believe other things, other people have power over them, then that becomes their core belief. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't enter into consciousness, their mental minds, to disagree or make changes or even to test the theory, because it isn't a theory to them. It's fact. It's the truth. And so over the last few years, we've been seeing the dissolution of all of these monadic soul contracts and the chaos that is created between these different groups of souls. And the reason that we're seeing these obvious levels of manipulation and control and restrictions to our freedom is that our state of readiness to grow up spiritually is high. You know, this is the lifetime for us to do this, or at the very least, to be that first bit of the snowball that then picks up speed and turns into an avalanche. This is due to the length of time that has flowed since the artificial locks that have been placed upon the incarnation cycle have been lifted, and back in 2012, and we're going back 20 years, 20 plus years now. And another aspect of activating the freedom codes that are held within our divine blueprint beneath these distorted overlays that have built up over lifetime and lifetime is basically to have your roots of your identity buried deeply within the highest vibrational consciousness of the planet. So Green Dragonfly is saying, yes, there is so much wisdom in the body. I have trouble with the idea of separation of mind and body. You have trouble with the idea of separation of mind and body. I mean, I suppose that there is no separation in one way, because all aspects of us hold varying vibrational layers. But it's many people at this time separate the idea of their identity into the body, the roles they play, the 3D reality, rather than being able to hold that multidimensional awareness of themselves. So I'm not sure if that's what you meant, but yeah. So making sure that our roots are the roots of our identity are buried deeply within the highest vibrational consciousness of the planet is absolutely an essential part of this process of being free to be our true and authentic selves. You know, this was something that Peter and Nora both spoke of, and possibly even Maria as well, actually, on her talk. You know, if we have shallow roots, then, you know, if the roots of our identity are shallow, surface level, then we are likely to be blown over like a tree in a storm, because we haven't got anything deep enough to really anchor us. Our roots are the foundations of our truth within the physical incarnation. And if our roots are built solely upon that which we know in the physical, our personality, identity constructs, then they only exist at surface level, and our stability at times of trouble is really poor. But if, however, we have deep taproots that connect us not just down into the highest vibrational elements of the planetary consciousness below, but up into the pure source field above as well, then we know ourselves to be eternal souls, spiritual beings currently having a physical existence. And when the storm rages around us, we can still connect to the stillness within and remain centered and strong. And we can also be an anchor for those around us who are facing the storm, but have possibly a lesser understanding of what's going on a multidimensional perspective. And we are facing the storm now. You know, many of those who are aware see the dissolution of the limiting physical structures that directly relate to the restricting and limiting energetic structures of the many contracts, command codes and decrees that we've made and encoded within our divine blueprint over many previous lifetimes of entrapped incarnation here on the earth plane. And one thing to remember is that when you activate your freedom codes, when you consciously proclaim and activate your freedom codes within yourself, you automatically start to reclaim your divine essence. You automatically start that process of reclaiming your power from the many contracts that have enslaved you. And your vibration will and does change. And this can mean that you no longer resonate at a comfortable frequency to those around you, you know, those people who were and have been your soul tribe. And that's what I was saying about this process. When you find yourself and you connect in with your truth, it is fluid, it's moving, it's constantly moving and in flow with your progression through your own evolutionary process. Because each time you shift and change your frequency, the gap of discomfort becomes bigger with certain groups in and around you. And so we're constantly making these adjustments, constantly checking in, constantly ensuring that, you know, where we're living still resonates, the people that we're engaging with still resonates, our job still resonates, you know, the objects that we have in the house still resonate, the relationships still resonates. So Green Dragonfly, yeah, but I also wanted to keep my spirit in the body as a sovereign being alive. I guess mind was the wrong word, because there are different minds, the busy mind and the heart mind. Yeah, what I am learning with A Course in Miracles now, they are saying the body is nothing but illusion. I disagree with that personally, but you know, whatever teachings that you connect in with, you're going to resonate with some things, you're not going to resonate with others, and that's also absolutely fine. And you know, just because we're drawn to a certain teaching, I may be drawn to read a book, but only like one word out of one page might jump out of me and be what I read that book for. I don't have to absorb everything that's written or said by the author and take it as verbatim. It's that ability to constantly check in. So it's like feeling into, does that resonate with me? I mean, for me personally, the body isn't just an illusion. I mean, everything's energy. I mean, you could say everything's an illusion. You know, everything is energy, and everything's vibrating at a different frequency and a different vibrationary rate. And yes, I'm the center of my own universe, and everything exists in my universe because I create my universe. And that is the same for absolutely everybody. But for me, I absolutely agree. It is about bringing everything together. It's about being the all that you are, but recognizing that this energetic structure that makes up the physical body and the non-physical aspects of the auric field, light body matrix, whatever you want to call it, is again only a part of who I am. And there are vibrational aspects of me that are seen, and there are vibrational aspects of me that are not seen. There are vibrational aspects that I can feel of other people, and there are vibrational aspects that I don't feel of other people. And, you know, but this is only one aspect. This is only one small part of the all that I am, because I'm an individuated spark of the all that is. So, you know, I am the archangels, I am the dragons, the unicorns, everything. It's all part of me, but it's that frequency range beyond the incarnated part. And so yes, being the all that you are is being your multidimensional self, as far as what Spirit's guided me as, and that's how I work with people. It's allowing yourself to be your multidimensional state. And having that awareness of yourself at all times. You know, I'm not just the physical body. I'm not just my emotions. I'm not just my thoughts. I'm my spirit and everything. And allowing all of that to be fully present and to have that awareness in each moment. That is also what enables me to take that 10,000 foot view, to not take things personally, to not feel like the victim, you know, to see things going on in my life personally, or the wider field around me, and to not be, you know, as if I've taken a direct wound. But yeah, Louise is saying, having been aware of a repetition of behaviours playing out through generations in my family, I've cleaned out relationships, belongings, etc. I'm standing in my power, and I'm keeping my friendships in. Absolutely fabulous. That's it. You know, I mean, and it doesn't matter how small we start. I mean, I remember going back when Spirit nudged me down the stairs and I was paralysed for a week. I wasn't ready at that point to end my marriage, but I was ready to sort out my relationships with my parents, and my relationship with my job. I had a boss who treated me very badly as well, but I was allowing that because I wasn't standing in my truth in any way, shape or form. And so, you know, I was able to take some steps, but it took me a number of years after that, and going through that process of completely reflecting on everything, taking responsibility for my part in every interaction, that I was then able to step out of the marriage. So, you know, it's again, it's not about judging ourselves in any of this, because it's not an easy thing for us to do, especially when you see, you know, 70–80% of the population being in that range of people who are like, no, not interested, you know, this is all there is, and this is fine for me. So just recognizing, you know, when we make these changes, when we walk this path, we are going to be in states where we're no longer comfortable, we're no longer resonating at a comfortable level of frequency with the people around us, with our soul tribe. And this process of spiritual evolution, spiritual growth, brings change. You know, it's a natural part of the process, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's exactly what it's about. And your strength and your power lies within not seeing anything that is falling away in this death rebirth cycle as a loss, but seeing the beauty and the benefit of change. Yes, it may mean relationships, it may mean your career, your job, the role that you've held for a long time and that's very dear to you. But if it's no longer resonating with you and you're feeling drawn to leave those things and allowing yourself to do so in the best and most gentlest, graceful way for you, and being okay with that, acknowledging it's part of this journey. And it's not just okay, it's more than okay, it's perfect. You know, and not focusing on the loss, not focusing on that which is dissolving or falling away. And that's the same when we look outside and we see possibly the rigid structures that we've known and grew up with falling apart or dissolving. You know, not going into that fear of lack or loss of that which has been, but focusing ahead into what's coming. You know, that new amazing job, that new amazing role, that new amazing structure, way of being, of living, of connecting with people, you know, that new amazing group of people that are ready and waiting to come into your life. You know, having that forward focus rather than looking back. But saying having the forward focus, but being present, being fully present in this now. So within the incarnated experience, there's a finite amount of energy that can be held within the dimensional field. Therefore, we have to let go of the energy that's no longer resonating or serving us in our higher vibration, to create space for that which wants to come in and that which we want to bring in, because we want to be manifesting and bringing in at the frequency that we are moving into, stepping into, that we've just reached, as opposed to where we've been. Maria's saying, I think we're sometimes afraid for the new to come in and therefore tend to cling to the old. Yeah, absolutely. And again, you know, we don't judge ourselves for that, because that's part of what we've been trained to do as a human. You know, we're all trained to hold on to that which we've got, even if and when that which we have isn't exactly what we wanted. It's like, you know, if I'll only take me for an example. I mean, I was starved of love as a child. I didn't feel loved. I didn't even feel liked by my mum. I wasn't a bad child. I was just a kid. But that entrained me to hold on to any semblance of love. And it didn't matter how abusive that love was, or how limiting that love was, or if it was any kind of sense of love that I was getting, I clung on to it for grim death, because I never believed that I was lovable. I never believed that I could achieve unconditional love. But that, I mean, it was funny. It was funny because, you know, because I am a channel and I do channel for myself as well. And I was asking Spirit, you know, why can't I ever find anybody to love me? And Spirit just said, well, when are you going to love yourself unconditionally? Because the minute you start loving yourself unconditionally and you don't need to find it out there, that's the minute it's going to show up. Which, you know, and that's the other thing, you know, when you're connecting in with your guides, you know, your spirit team, Archangel Michael, whoever, it doesn't matter, dragons, it doesn't matter. I always have that conversational tone. You know, you're talking to yourself. You're talking to an aspect of you. Okay, it's an aspect of you that's never been in the physical body and, you know, knows a lot more from a much more divinely neutral perspective than I do in this human form, but it's still you. And so, you know, you can have a good chin wag, you can have an argument, you know, you can have a rant and a rave. It's absolutely fine. There's no hierarchical structure within that, you know, through your column of light. There's no hierarchical structure. So, you know, just allow yourself the freedom, again, the freedom of conversing with your guides and allies in a way that works for you, where you get the answers that you want. And it doesn't have to be this, answer. Because sometimes we ask really down-to-earth questions and we need those down-to-earth questions answering. And sometimes we get a slap around the face answer, like, when are you going to love yourself unconditionally? But hey, that's the rub, that's the give and take of it. And that's what I love about it as well. So Louise is saying, yeah, it took years for her to embrace change, had to cut out most of my family and find my own path, resonate with what I've said about her mother relationship. Yeah. I mean, we hold these wounds as well. And again, a lot of the wounds that we hold are coming through from previous and past lives. My dog's trying to get comfy and he keeps knocking the wire on my light. So if all of a sudden my light collapses, you'll know why. You're going to lay down, baby. Yeah, you're going to lay down, Bobs. I tell you what, one way to really know what unconditional love is to have an animal, have a dog or a cat or something, because they just exude unconditional love. And sometimes we need that role model, and we might not be able to find it in the physical. Maria would also like to add that learning to trust a connection to source and our intuition and follow the flow of the divine guidance is something that comes with the path of freedom. Absolutely. And this weekend, she's had 6 years worth of learning notes and journals destroyed by floods, and the clear message has been trust. Absolutely. And I know, people come to me as a channel and they come to me seeking with questions, and that's fine, because if that's where you're at in that moment, I mean, part of my role is to enable you to connect in with yourself and trust the messages that you're getting. But ultimately it is, all of the answers are within you. All of the answers are able to be achieved and received through you. And it's one thing to allow yourself to clear your field, get rid of all those distortions, that white noise, so that you can hear, as it were. Not everybody hears or see or feel clearly. But then allowing yourself to receive. We often call out for help to spirit, and then we close our ears to receiving the answer, and the answer will come in a multitude of different ways. Not everybody sees things, not everybody hears things, but we are always getting the answers to the questions or the callings that we're sending out. We just might not be acknowledging the answers when they come. And a classic one for me was that Nike sign, just do it. I was asking, about, so I can't even remember what it was that I was asking about. And 3 times I saw that Nike sign. And at the end, it was like really in my face, like on a billboard, like, just do it. It's like, okay. Because sometimes we get the answers and we're just completely oblivious to it. So I want to close this final call for season 10 with an activation. And it's a channeled activation to reconnect you beyond that artificial holographic source field that we've been bouncing in and out of, thinking that we were going back and transitioning back into the pure source field, and we weren't. And heading beyond that up to the pure source field, so that our soul signatures can feel ready to fully release themselves from whatever contracts, any and all contracts, consciously or unconsciously made at any level, any timeline, any reality, that is holding you back from being free to be the all that you are. So before I prepare to do the activation, are there any last questions or comments or anything? Because after the activation, other than just checking you are all back in the room, I'd quite like to leave you to go from there with that experience. So is there anything that anybody has that they wish to ask or mention, comment? Thank you for everything. It's an absolute pleasure. I love this. This was a divinely inspired thing, and a big part of my accelerated journey back into trusting. And it was a big step, a leap of faith for me to trust and actually do this, because I think I mentioned on one of the calls, I hate having my picture taken. I hated having my picture taken. So actually, you know, being live and on camera and things like that, that was a major no-no. That was never going to happen. But, you know, I love this work. I love connecting with you all. I love bringing people into your awareness that you may not have connected with before. And for me, it is all about trust. I trust that the perfect speakers come with a perfect message and transmission to you, the perfect audience. And for my talks in particular, half the time I have no idea what I'm going to be talking about until about the day before or a couple of days before, and sometimes it will change. And that's the thing about being flexible and being in flow. When your taproot is really deeply connected into the pure source field and the planetary consciousness, and you're connected above as well, you bend and you sway. And when things change around you, there's no big deal. It's like the webinar thing happening. You know, 10 years ago, that would have freaked me out completely. I would have been like, oh, I can't do it. And it was just like, okay, well, how do we work around this? If that wasn't meant to be, then how do we work around it? And that's the beauty of this work. That's the beauty of this freedom, because it really does free you from all of those limiting beliefs, limiting emotions, all of those triggers that would have, you know, either frozen you or made you run in fear or made you fight. You know, it frees you to step back from those fight flight responses, and to actually flow with life in a much more graceful way. That's certainly something that I've experienced on my journey. So there doesn't seem to be any other questions, so let's get into it. Okay. What I might do, because I hadn't been able to record a free gift activation prior to it, I might just take the recording of this and put it up as a free gift. Oh, and might as well say my special offer, actually. I am offering a 60-minute discounted one-to-one session to look at any monadic soul contracts that you're ready to release and to clear them, that are, you know, basically at the root cause of any stuckness that you might be feeling. So that is a discounted 60-minute session. And the other thing that I was guided to do was a 3-part live webinar series. Obviously, because of my voice and my throat, it's going to be delayed a little bit, so it will be in November. And this is going to be about investigating and releasing the core monadic soul contracts that I've found many people are holding, that are blocking people from standing in their power. You know, we'll also be going through what the monadic soul contracts are, how they were created, the impact they're having on your ability to move forward. It's also going to be an opportunity for you to kind of connect into any areas or any kind of repeated spaces where you kind of go, okay, I get to this point and then things just shut down on me. So you can actually bring your personal ones to the table in that as well. But there will also be some collective ones that tend to come up for clients again and again. Each webinar will include channeled information and also channeled healing activations, and opportunities to ask questions and feedback and stuff. So I will be tuning in and finding out when the dates are for me to do that, and I'll be putting the details of that. And anybody who is interested, you can purchase it, or you can ping me a message and I'll let you know when I know the dates for the live calls. So, voice willing, dogs behaving, let's do the activation. So just allow yourself to be comfortable in the space that you're in. Allow your feet to be connected to the ground, feeling the solid foundation beneath your feet. And when you're ready, allowing your eyes to close and your awareness to drop from your head down into your heart field. For as we close our eyes, we see more clearly, and we allow ourselves to stop in this moment, becoming fully present and dropping our thoughts, our fears, any concerns, anything that is playing in our minds, and landing softly, gracefully down in our heart field and feeling. And when we connect into our heart fields, we connect into the pure source diamond white light that we are. Our eternal flame, our flame of truth. That eternal flame that resides within the very core of our being. For the heart field is the bridge between the higher vibrational aspects of our incarnated form and the physical. As above, so below. And this bridge within the toroidal field of our heart space is the bridge between the seen and unseen aspects of ourself. Also mirrored as our incarnated light body. The toroidal field of the entire spectrum of light, sound and vibration unique to each and every one of us is also a bridge. And so as you connect into the awareness of this, allow your awareness to zoom out. Zoom out beyond the heart field within your physical form to appreciate the entirety of your incarnated light body. Your light body that extends beyond your physical form, 360 degrees around you. And seeing this incarnational field, this auric field, fully. You may see the many layers and levels, dimensions and frequencies held within. Or you may just get a sense of knowing of the space that you exist within. Beyond your physical form. And as you're sitting in this awareness of your incarnated light body, allow your awareness to extend beyond that space, above and below, and feel into your connection to the planetary consciousness below your feet. How deeply are you connected or not? And your awareness of yourself extending out beyond your incarnational field through your central column, all the way up into the dimensional fields of reality beyond the physical. Just for this moment, allowing your awareness to travel up and up into the space beyond your incarnated light body. Into the holographic white space, the artificial source field that you have transitioned into time and again at the end of each lifetime. For it's within this space that the monadic soul contracts are held. And you may wish at this point to call forth those contracts that you've created or agreed to. Call them forth, the contracts that relate to your monadic soul structure, that your divine essence is attached, associated and connected to. And you may find a table appearing before you with many different documents of different shapes and sizes on it. And in this moment, we're just gaining an awareness. You may feel strongly pulled towards specific contracts. You may feel reticent to make any changes to them at this time. Just allow yourself to be aware of their existence. For awareness is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. And it's with awareness that we make a conscious choice. Now just allow yourself to extend your awareness up and beyond this holographic space, leaving the table and its contents. This artificial source field that was created to entrap your soul signature into continuous incarnation. This artificial space that brought feelings of despair and disillusionment, separation, abandonment, and powerlessness, that diminished your ability to see yourself as your truth, as a divine creator being born from the pure source field of light, an individuated spark of the all that is. And just allow yourself now to extend your awareness beyond this artificial space, traveling up and up through many different layers of dimensions. You may see colors, you may hear sounds, you may feel vibrations, or you may just have an awareness of yourself expanding beyond space and time. Just allow yourself to continue to expand, to rise up until you reach the pure source field of divine love, light, and consciousness that you are. Allow yourself to reconnect fully and wholly. Know yourself as this point of light, this individualized aspect of the infinite field of consciousness. And bathe in the serenity. Bathe in the vibration of unconditional love, the divine light that you are. And feel your soul signature being cleared and cleansed of all limitations. And connect fully into your divine blueprint. That unique divine signature that you are. No overlays, no distortions, just the unique divine signature of love, light, sound, and vibration that you bring forth into every incarnation. This divine signature holds all of your divine frequencies and codes. In this moment, we're specifically calling forth your freedom codes. Allow yourself to connect in with these codes, consciously drawing them down from your individuated aspect of the all that is. These freedom codes that are unique to you, or they hold your unique combination of the pure divine blueprint. You may see, sense, or know these codes as you draw them down, drawing them down, all the way down, through those many dimensional layers that you have traveled. Drawing your awareness back from that most expanded, infinite state, back down through the artificial holographic space of consciousness, where the monadic soul contracts were created. And as you draw those freedom codes down, be aware of them beginning to unweave and unravel the ties, the shackles, the chains, holding you fast into this space and holding you into all that was created within this space. Feel your freedom codes releasing you from the state and experience of despair and disillusionment, separation, abandonment, and powerlessness, freeing you to be the all that you came here to be. You may see the unique freedom codes that you have drawn down from the pure source field as a treasure. They may take on a shape or a form for you to carry. Just allow yourself to carry them down and through this artificial matrix of entrapment, enslavement, and control, and release its hold on you. For you hold the truth within your hands, and the truth shall set you free. And as you continue to draw these codes down, drawing them down with your awareness into your incarnational field, through your central column, you may see these codes now coming down in a different form. You may be aware, some of you, of a multi-hued helix of DNA, or some may see them as golden light or diamond white photonic sparks. However you see them, allow these codes to travel through your central column, sharing and spreading their energy, encoding their energy into the very fabric of your incarnated light body, and beginning the work of clearing and releasing and replacing those distorted overlays of truth that have been embedded onto your divine blueprint, that have determined your responses and reactions in this lifetime, that have determined your sense of identity, your sense of self, your awareness of your gifts, your strengths, your talents, and power, and that have determined your readiness to stand in your power, to express your truth, and to clear your field of all other influence and interference, to let go. As you now allow your divine frequency to be reclaimed, your divine frequency is unique to you, and your purpose in this lifetime is to be that truth, a true reflection of your divine blueprint, and to radiate those frequencies out into the wider world. And so as those freedom codes enter into your field, into each and every one of your energy centers, they are being encoded within. For some, they are deleting previously overlaid false and distorted encodements and replacing them, locking in and activating your freedom codes. You may get a sense of these freedom codes activating within you. You may get a sense of warmth or tingling. You may feel your field lighting up as these freedom codes begin to do their work. And as they're activated fully within the entirety of your incarnated light body, a chain reaction will occur that will bring on a vibrational shift and change within your body of light. And so to ensure that your transition through these changes is done with the utmost ease and grace, allow your awareness now to flow down through your central column to the intersection of your light body with the planetary consciousness. And hold the intention that you are releasing yourself from any and all roots that are solely held within this lower frequency bandwidth. You are releasing yourself from your attachment to that plane of vibrational existence within the planetary consciousness that is the Earth. And extending your roots down as far as feels comfortable for you. And for some, you may go all the way to the diamond heart of Gaia, all the way to the crystalline consciousness of the pure source field within the planetary consciousness. For all is mirrored, as above, so below. But however far through the higher vibrational layers of consciousness you can embed your roots, let that be so. Knowing that you are at this time connecting into this space. But as your vibration shifts and rises, so too will your roots grow, deeper and deeper into the highest vibrations of the planetary consciousness, forever extending down into that crystalline heart of the pure source light within. And as you connect into these higher earth frequencies, allow yourself to receive. Receive the nourishment and nurturing, the sense of stability, the sense of rooting your mission, your purpose into the highest possible timelines that exist within the planetary consciousness at this time. And to continue to root into the highest possible timelines as the planetary consciousness shifts and transforms, rising in consciousness and frequency. This is a fluid process, a fluid connection to the highest possible vibrations that can be held. There is no rigidity within your connection. To ensure that you are able to flow and bend and flex as the changes and transformations occur. The storm may rage around you, but you are centered within the eye of the storm. So feeling that strength, feeling that connection, feeling the energy of the highest vibrational planetary frequencies flowing back up your roots, flowing up into your heart field, the bridge within your incarnated light body, between the etheric and the physical. Just as a tree draws up nutrients and water from the earth, you are nourishing and hydrating yourself with these highest vibrational energies, drawing them up into the very physical elements and aspects that make up your physical form in this incarnation. Feeling yourself being nourished from within. Feeling the light of the pure source field above and below flooding into every cell of your body, illuminating every cell, clearing and releasing all that is no longer resonating, activating those freedom codes into every atom. Feeling the energies wash through every muscle, every tissue, every sinew, bone and cell. Flowing through the liquid systems of your physical form, your lymph, your blood, your interstitial fluid. With every breath that you take, you are drawing in divine light, and you are releasing that which no longer serves you. As you continue to allow your freedom codes to flow into each atom, every cell of your being, activating, illuminating, and releasing that which no longer serves. Allow yourself, your awareness, once again to come back into your heart field. Illuminated now, not just by the pure source field above and your eternal flame of truth, but by the pure source field below and your deep tap roots into the highest vibrational energies held within the planetary consciousness. Feeling that flow of energy to you, through you, from you, with your breath, with your heartbeat, with the pulse of your blood flowing through your veins and back to your heart, cleansing, illuminating the death rebirth cycle in action. And then when you are ready, allowing your awareness to fall back into your heart field within your physical form, feeling your breath moving your chest and your stomach as you breathe in and breathe out. Bringing movement back into your physical body, back into your arms and your legs. Having a stretch if need be. And when you're ready, only when you're ready, becoming aware of your physical body in the space that it's in and allowing your eyes to open. How is everybody? Everybody back in the room. So with that activation, embedding the freedom codes that are unique to you into your field, you're now allowing yourself to be in that state of readiness to release whichever contracts, to reclaim your divine essence, to free yourself to be yourself, to get to know your truth and to live from that state of being. Gillian saying thank you, that was very deep and powerful. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, something that you can go back and listen to. As I say, I will try and pull it out of the recording so that it's a separate standalone, and I'll put that up as the free gift so that you don't have to go through, fast forward through the whole talk. Oh, the activation's still working if you feel like you're falling asleep. If you lose consciousness, if you fall asleep during any, you know, guided activations, meditations, you're just shutting, your mind's shutting down, so it can kind of get out of the way. You're still receiving the transmission. Everything is energy. You're still receiving that transmission. So yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's nice with certain activations to actually put them on as you're preparing to go to sleep, you know, because we heal when we sleep. so we can kind of, get ourselves into that state of readiness by doing that as well. So yeah, don't worry if you were falling asleep and your mind couldn't keep up. You were receiving the energetic transmission. So before we wrap this call up, because I'm aware of the time, does anybody have any last questions or comments, or anything that I could assist anybody with before we bring this to a close? June says, feels so much lighter already. Excellent. That's good. Already started doing some clearing and processing. All right. Okay. Well, as it is a meeting, you can unmute yourselves. But I will stop the recording and then we can say our goodbyes. Thank you so much to everybody who's joined us this season. Doesn't matter when you join, when you find the summits and you listen to the calls, whatever calls you're attracted to listen to, they're perfect for you in that moment. But it's been lovely again to hold space with and for you. And I look forward to seeing you all again next season, which I don't know the exact dates of yet. Sure Spirit will guide me, but it's usually around spring, kind of February, March time. But yeah, I will see when I'm guided to do it. So until then, go well, journey well, allow these freedom codes to fully activate. I look forward to hearing how you've all got on. If you are interested in connecting with me, all my details are on the emails that go out. I have a website, www.loumatson.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, and I will endeavour to put more content out as this year progresses. I've been busy with one-to-one sessions with clients this last year, and I've also been processing a lot of health stuff for myself. But again, that's a perfect part of my process. Clearing out the physical is what I've been doing this year. So Siskiyou says, thank you, very powerful, works great with my Gene Key 55 in my life purpose. Fantastic. Maybe listen to it a few times then. I mean, I always listen to stuff when I'm drawn to listen to it. So, no matter when I feel drawn to do it, I go back and listen to things again sometimes. So much love to you all. It's been lovely sharing space with you, and I look forward to connecting with you all again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.